Hi there, this is Ubaidullah, and in this video we are going to work on the figurative devices of the poem The Lake Isle of Innisfree. So let's get started. First of all, we will see the rhyme scheme of each stanza. So stanza number 1 has the rhyme scheme AB AB. How it is AB AB? Let's figure it out. We see that the first line, the last word is Innisfree, and in the third line it is honey bee. So free and bee are rhyming, so it will be given the scheme as A, and in the second and fourth line it is made and glade, which are rhyming, so it will be B. Okay, so Innisfree, made, A B, honey and glad, A B. So the rhyme scheme will be in the first stanza A B A B. Here is the second stanza, and in the second stanza the rhyme scheme is C D C D. And how it is C D? Because we have already utilized A B. So B, we will give the new rhyme, new scheme to any new rhyme. So here the new word is slow, but slow is rhyming with glow. So we will give first and third line the same rhyme scheme. Okay, now after slow we see the new rhyme is sings, and that matches with the last line wings. So the rhyme scheme will be for slow C, for sings D, then again for glow C, then wings D. It will be C D C D. Third and last stanza has the rhyme scheme as EF EF. We left in the previous stanza at D. So now we will give the new rhyme scheme to the word day. So day and gray are rhyming the same, so it will be given the same rhyme scheme. And after day we see shore, and shore is rhyming with core. So day gray shore core. So day will be given E and shore will be given F. So the rhyme scheme will be for day E, for shore F, then gray E, then core F. It will be E F E F. Let's come now to the devices used in this poem, and the first one we are going to discuss is Anaphora. Anaphora is the figure of speech where we see the repetition of the same word or same phrase in the beginning of two or more lines in the same poem. Okay, I'm repeating the words. When we see the repetition of the same word or the same phrase in two or more lines, it is called anaphora. Here we see the word I is being repeated in the beginning of two consecutive lines. It should be in the consecutive line. There should not be any gap. Okay, so we see that the words are being repeated, but if there is a gap, then it will not be called anaphora. Here we see in two consecutive lines that the word I has been repeated, so it will be called anaphora. Then comes the assonance. Assonance is the repetition of vowel sound. We see that the the sound of vowel has been repeated, and the repetition is anywhere in the word. We see in the first line that a sound is being repeated, and it is repeated, it is somewhere in the beginning, somewhere in the middle. And the same way we see for the O sound that is being repeated. Okay, so when it comes to vowel sound, it can be anywhere, and it will be called assonance. When it is being repeated in the same line for two or more times, it will be called assonance. There can be other instances as well where you find in the same poem the same figurative device. I have mentioned only two examples for your reference. After the assonance, let's come to consonants. Assonance and consonants are opposite to each other. Assonance was regarding vowels, and consonance is regarding consonant. And there is a similarity between these two as well. The consonants and assonants, the letters can be found anywhere in the word. Like we see the letter N, it is in the beginning and at the end and in the middle as well. In nine, bean, and honey it is being repeated, but in nine it is in the beginning, bean it is at the end, and honey it is in the middle. And we also see in the second line that in the midnight and in noon we see it is being repeated and it is anywhere. Okay, so when the consonant sound is uh, is found anywhere in the in the letter, sometimes we find in the beginning, in the middle, or at the end, it is called consonants. But if we see the consonant sound is being repeated in the beginning only, it will be a different kind of figurative device. Let's find out. As I told you earlier that in the assonance and consonants, the letter, vowel or consonant can be found anywhere in the letter. But if you find the consonant letter only in the beginning, then it will be called alliteration. So here we see the repetition of the P sound, S sound, and H sound in the beginning only, and the examples are some, slow. Okay, so we have the example of comes as well. We see that the word comes, and we have shall as well. I forgot to highlight that. So some, peace and peace are being repeated, and now we see that dropping has also p, but we did not highlight that because we are showing the example of alliteration where the repeated sound should only be in the beginning. Okay, in the next line we see that the sound of H, her sound, is being repeated, and it is only in the beginning. So you can find other examples as well. It is only for reference. So learn it from here and apply it anywhere you want. When you see the repetition of a word in the beginning only, it will be called anaphora. But when you see the repetition anywhere in the line, not in the beginning only, it will be called repetition simply. Okay, so the repetition figure of speech is called when we see the repetition of words anywhere in the line. But remember, if it is in the beginning of two consecutive line, it will be called anaphora. Okay, but when you see in the same line or in the same poem the phrase is being repeated, it will be called as repetition. Here we see in the first line the word go is being repeated. In the second example we see the word peace is being repeated, and last I have highlighted the whole line. uh, I will arise and go now, it has been repeated in the first and last stanza. So this is also an instance of repetition. So this way you can find out that when the words are being repeated or when the phrases are being repeated, it is called repetition. It can be, if the word is being repeated we will see only the line, if the phrase is being repeated we can see only the whole poem. Till now we were studying the repetition of words or letter. First of all we studied the repeated sound in the beginning of two lines. Then we found the repetition of letters, especially the first one was vowels, then the second one was consonant, then repetition of the consonant sound in the beginning. Now it is the different one, metaphor. You must have studied it earlier as well. Metaphor is the likeness of two things that are not literally applicable to each other. So the metaphor is when we use a word or a phrase and apply it on an object. But the two things we compare together are not literally attached to each other, literally applicable to each other. Okay, so here we see I have highlighted whales of the morning. So the whales here is actually the poet is talking about the mist or dew or cloud that is being that is becoming the hindrance. You are not able to see far because of that cloud, mist or dew. ओके सो दैट हैज बीन कॉल्ड हियर एज अ वेल, है ना, एक पर्दे के तौर पर, एक बुरके के तौर पर उसको काउंट किया गया है कि मॉर्निंग ने एक पर्दा ओढ़ रखा है. तो पर्दा क्या है असल में? दैट इज मिस्ट, क्लाउड और ड्यू, एनीथिंग दैट हैज बीन रिफर्ड हियर. Last but not the least, and probably the most most amazing figure of speech is personification. uh, when you see the things, the ideas, animals, etc., there are non-human things that are non-human. When these things are being given human attributes, when they are given feeling, when they are when they talk, when they think, okay, when they behave like human, when poet says that these things are doing things like human do, like the water, in a poem the water starts jump, and it's it's say something, or the cloud or something that it starts behaving, that it the poet gives the attributes that it does not belong to it but to humans. So it will be called personification. Here in the example dropping from the wheels of the morning, we have used this example for metaphor as well, but here we see that the morning has been given the character of human being. It is using a veil, एक बुरके को, एक पर्दे को मॉर्निंग जो है वो यूज कर रही है, एंड वी आर नॉट एबल टू सी थ्रू इट, है ना. हम इसके मॉर्निंग के चेहरे को नहीं देख पा रहे हैं, मॉर्निंग को नहीं देख पा रहे हैं. क्यों? बिकॉज देयर mist, there is cloud. Okay, so morning is personified here in this example. So this is it in this video. Leave a comment if you think that I missed something, and see you soon.